I want to send a special thank you to all my new subscribers. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do so and hit that bell so that way you receive notifications when I upload videos. There's a huge battle brewing between Kimora Simmons and her ex, Djimon Hounsou. I hope I said that right. But you guys know who Kimora Simmons is. She used to be married to Russell Simmons back in the day, and she also was a supermodel. She was a huge supermodel. And she also had the clothing line Baby Phat. Now, I used to wear Baby Phat religiously back in the day, up until she closed her clothing line, which I was devastated about because that was like my favorite clothing line. But anyway, back to the topic. So there's a huge custody battle going on between these two. Now, I must say that they did a great job keeping this under wraps. Djimon and Kimora used to date back in 2007 through 2012. So they were together for roughly 5 years. And they had a son named Kenzo. Now, Kenzo just recently turned 10 years old. And but everything surfaced about a month ago when TMZ caught Djimon leaving. It looked like he was leaving the country, and I was gonna include audio from that video, but I'm not gonna because TMZ can be a little iffy at times. So what I am gonna do is include the visual of it. And so in the video, TMZ asked Djimon how was his Father's Day, and you can see that he visibly was upset with the fact that he said Kimora Simmons refused him the opportunity to speak to and to see his son for Father's Day. So he was visibly upset about that, and they asked him how long has it been since the last time he saw the son, and he said he couldn't tell you. He couldn't remember. It's been that long ago. And they also asked him, did he have anything he wanted to say to Kimora, and he just got in his car and shut the door. You can tell he just didn't even want to speak on her. Their relationship doesn't seem like it's going well anymore, which is surprising because I thought that they had a great relationship, like a great co-parent relationship. You would always see them in pictures together, family pictures. It was Kimora Simmons, it was Russell Simmons, Djimon with all of the kids, and they would all be together for family functions and events and stuff like that. So it always gave the appearance that they had a great co-parent relationship. Now, I know that they said back in the day, Djimon and Kimora split up because of some issues with finances. I guess she was making way more than he was at one point in time, and he was uncomfortable about that. I don't know if that was the case, but they still, stayed in touch and was able to communicate well, it seemed, at that time, until she married her husband in 2013, Tim Leisner. And they've been together for a while, but it seemed like problems started to fester after she married him. Now, people are saying, reports have surfaced saying that Djimon had threatened to take his son to Africa and not return him. And Russell Simmons apparently has a good relationship with Djimon. And he approached Djimon and told him, hey, we'll let you take your son as long as you sign a document promising that you won't take him to Africa. Now, that's an issue because Djimon is from Africa. His family is from Africa. So why not allow Kenzo to be able to communicate with that side of the family? You're basically saying that he cannot take him out of the country to even visit his family, which I think it's wrong. There's something wrong with that. Now, Djimon is now requesting joint custody with Kimora Simmons, and he's also requesting child support. Now, he had Kimora served on Friday with a petition for joint custody. So it's like everything is really heating up between these two. And Russell Simmons seems to be right there in the middle. Now, y'all know that Russell Simmons has always been Kimora Simmons' right-hand man. Anytime she had an issue, you know, he was always there. He was like her mentor before they even got married. So they have history, years and years and years together. I just don't see them two ever cutting ties. But the thing that gets me is the fact that Kimora put together a birthday party for Kenzo's 10th birthday, and Djimon was not there, but her husband was. And in the video, and I'm gonna include that, he kisses her son on the lips. Now, listen, I know that he's been in his life since he was fairly young, but at the end of the day, that is somebody else's kid. And I feel like when parents kiss a child on the lip, if they're toddlers or they're of a young age, I feel like that's acceptable. There's nothing wrong with it. But once a kid gets to a certain age where they can formulate full sentences, they know how to give themselves their own bath, shower on their own, you probably shouldn't be kissing them on the lips anymore. They're old enough now to where it's more proper to give them a kiss on the cheek, especially if that's your stepchild. You're not the biological father to Kenzo. He has a biological father. So how would his father feel seeing you kissing his son on the lips? To me, there was something about that struck me a little bit off. Because that would make any parent upset. And so maybe some of these things that are happening, maybe that's what is causing the turmoil in between Kimora and Djimon. Maybe it's the fact that the husband, Tim Leissner, doesn't get along with her ex, Djimon. Maybe them two have some brewing beef or something happening, and now it's kind of spilling over into his co-parenting relationship with Kimora. That could be it. Kimora is not known for picking great men. Now, granted, I haven't heard anything about Djimon in the news or nowhere. I haven't heard any bad information about this guy. But Russell Simmons and her husband, Tim Leissner. Now, Tim Leissner, he was facing 10 years in federal prison for embezzlement. I guess it was a fraud case that happened back in 2009 where he embezzled $4.5 billion. And, he settled with that. He settled the case on that. But I don't know if that case is still going or if it's completely done. But I know that situation came out. And then Russell Simmons, y'all know Russell Simmons has his own open case for sexual harassment. That he fled the case. I can't even talk. He fled the country and refused to come back to even deal with that case. He was afraid they was going to arrest him. So she hasn't picked great men to have kids with. I mean, there's always something that has came out about the men she's been with. But I don't know. Hopefully this isn't a situation where Kimora just has, some vendetta or something against Djimon, and she just is refusing to allow him to see his kid. Hopefully that's not what's happening. Now, she says that she's always had an open door with Djimon, where she invited him to come and see, his son, but he just hadn't had an interest. He was like an absent father, is how she put it. But I just don't see a man going to this level to have her served and to sit before a judge requesting joint custody. I just don't see that. I don't see a man going through that whole entire process if he's already had an open door to be able to see his son. It seems like maybe there's something, spiteful happening behind the scenes where we can't see, and maybe she's refusing him to be able to see the son because maybe the two men don't get along. Like I said, Russell Simmons and Djimon has had a great relationship. You know, they've had a great relationship, but at the same time, in order for you to continue to have a great relationship, you shouldn't be speaking on Kimora's end. If you're friends with both of them, you should be neutral to both sides. Why are you telling him to sign a document stating that he won't take his son to a country where he's from to visit? You know, it seems like Russell Simmons is taking Kimora's side in the situation. So I don't know. I feel like, Kimora, you need to put your big girl panties on. You're over here giving advice to the Kardashians, but you need to pull up your britches and handle your situation. This is an issue between you and your ex, and it involves your son. You know, your son is in school. Kids talk these days. Y'all need to make sure that this stuff does not hit the public. It shouldn't be in the blogs. You should be able to come to some type of resolution before it even gets out to the public, for the sake of your kids. And hopefully they come to some type of conclusion. But if this is an issue where Kimora is just refusing to allow her ex to see the son, stop doing that. Stop refusing these men the opportunity to see their kids, especially if they have a healthy relationship with them. Stop doing that because you're bitter, because there's something wrong with you. Stop doing that. Allow him to see his kids. Now, if he's doing something that, you know, is unsafe, or, you know, if he's a child molester, if he's abusing the child, if he's doing something that he shouldn't be, then I understand. Take him to court and make sure that he never sees your kid again. There's something about child molesters I cannot stand. I don't like them. There's something mentally off with them. So if you're dealing with that with your ex, I understand why you don't want that person to see your kid. But if that man is a good father, stop refusing him the opportunity to see his kid. If you have a personal issue with him, you need to deal with that between you and him, and don't involve your kids. And don't speak on whether or not I've had my own issue with that, because honestly, I've been in a relationship for many years and I've never had that problem. And I've never been a female who spread it wide and thin for just any old Tom, Harry, okay? I've always picked great men to be involved with, and that will never change with me. So don't blame me because I don't understand the fact of how a woman can get involved with a man that is a douchebag. You know, somebody who isn't a great man to have kids with, or a great woman to have kids with. That's your problem, not mine. I've never ran into that issue, and I don't see myself running into that issue. You need to learn how to pick people to be involved with. Stop laying down with anybody on the first night. That's your problem, not mine. So I'm gonna leave it here. You guys tell me what your thoughts are, and I'll see you in the next video.